Yeah,
I just created a new link for this.
thank you. Lynn, there's Lynn. Okay.
Oh, good. Monday. There were two other people before. I don't know who they were, but I just saw 6 participants or something. So hopefully they'll get in.
And I can't. Thank you.
Oh, who gives it?
Okay,
You got the one off.
very good.
Rachel Zilber.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו.
I put you on the list if you.
I got to for sure.
Yeah, I did that before.
Okay,
Ricky's.
very good. So we're gonna start. Sorry, oh my gosh, it's 10:17. I'm not in a rush to finish exactly at 11. If you want, you're not either, and we'll see.
Right, because my husband's got a client coming in, I'm gonna put the mojito on.
Right.
And,
Okay.
Really, you know.
Okay.
Really quiet.
Okay, so without further ado. Sorry, I'm in class. Oh, okay, no, somebody just told me. I have to close my phone. I can't look at my phone anymore. Okay. Right. Okay, fine. So we're in the middle of section 14 of the 3rd chapter. And I'll just remind ourselves, in the book it begins, in the English book it begins 252. And I'll just recap in my own words where we got up to, and we'll continue. Okay, more people are coming in. Okay, good. So he starts this 14th section by saying that the opinion, like what's with this anti-Zionist position, if the mitzvah is so great, why were they so strong in that position? And he said those people are relying or have the belief that the Geula is going to come about in a miraculous way and not through natural efforts of man. And anyone who does anything to hasten or do anything other than wait for Hashem to do all of it is heretical against the position of Mashiach coming altogether. Because according to that opinion, it's supposed to come about in a miraculous way. But then he says, but that position, that there is a position that says like that, but that's only if we are zocheh. That's only if we merit this, if we have the schut of a miracle. If we don't merit because of our many sins, then it's going to go about the Geula is going to unfold in a natural way, which means through politics, governments, having to pack up your bags in whatever country you're living in, do the trek, whatever that involves and entails financially and everything else. And that's where we're holding clearly, looking around at the Jewish nation. So that was one position, he said. We missed the boat. We missed our chance with having it be done in a miraculous way. And then he goes into talking about the position that Eretz Yisrael Chachamim had towards the Jews in Bavel that chose not to make Aliyah with Ezra. And there was mamash a hatred. The Gemara uses languages of sin'ah, of hatred, that Eretz Yisrael rabbis had towards Bavel, because he said it's because of you that the Geula Shlema didn't come. That whatever happened after Ezra, the coming into the land, the building of the second Beit HaMikdash, it's on you. That it wasn't the final step in the Geula. You delayed it, and we can't forgive you for that. And when they refer to the rabbis of Bavel, they called them the Bavlim in a degrading way. Of course, Bavel means confused, not with it. And he quotes examples from the Gemaras that this approach came up, and this language, that they're the ones not coming up with Ezra, the Chachamim, the wise men and the rich men, the ones with resources and power of influence to get the other people who may not be so into going to Eretz Yisrael, but they should have served the example, and they prevented so many not coming back, and by preventing the Geula Shlema from happening, they're essentially that position of theirs was that they prevented the Shekhinah from resting on the Bayit Sheni, on the second temple. Now he quotes a pasuk from Shir HaShirim, Im choma hi nikanes alea tirat kesef, im delet hi natzur alea luach hares. Means, there's two ways of coming back to Eretz Yisrael. One is going to be like pure silver, which doesn't rot, and another way is like wood, cedar that has the property of rotting. And they came back, the few people that did come back with Ezra, it was likened to wood that's given over to rotting, as opposed to silver that doesn't have any decay to it. And so it's on them, he says. Then he says we fisfasna, we lost out in the time of Ezra. The Geula Shlema could have happened, and it caused a hatred between the people in the land of Israel and the Jews of Bavel. And yes, we should have been worthy of a miracle, but the Gemara says, Hachet mena'ah. The sin prevented it from happening. Now the question is, what sin? Which sin prevented the miracle of a miraculous Geula from happening? And this is where we're holding now. This is the new material. Hello, bnei Bavel lo hatzu begula kazul dekosh. He says, really, what was so terrible about the Jews in Bavel wanting a miracle? Isn't that a beautiful thing to believe so much in HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He can bring us out of in a miraculous way? And they only wanted to participate, to enjoy Geula if it's going to come directly from Hashem, from a miraculous, miracle that everyone will have no doubt but to accept that this really is from Hashem, and you can't pin it on any human effort. Isn't that like a good thing? Why is that a sin? So now he continues. Okay, hold on. Let me read it and translate. Except, what's the faultiness of that idea? But if Hashem already set into motion that this is the way it's going to unfold, that Koresh should give permission to the Jews, that clearly the road was paved for the Jewish people to come back to Eretz Yisrael, and he's giving them resources, and he's giving them, and Ezra HaSofer, who was a Navi, he's going along with it, he's accepting it, he's not rejecting it, he's not telling them that this is just a trick of the Yetzer Hara, and they see Hatzlacha in it. The Beis HaMikdash was really built. So there was a divine consent for this to happen. So he says, Im ken, ma tadan gam ve'im ken, maze mize atadan gam lemashal fanenu. And if that was the case in Ezra's time, so we can accept that argument for our generation. Clearly, historically speaking, things were put into motion to allow the Jewish people to leave Galus and come back to Eretz Yisrael. The writing was all over the wall of world governments and affairs that to give the right of the Jews to come back to their homeland. This became something on the agenda of world order. And if that's the case, then clearly you have to accept that is the ratzon of the Creator. This is Hashem's ratzon, that this is the way things are unfolding. And what was missed out in the time of Koresh at that time, there's a chance to be matak in that. We're reliving a situation with the British Empire opening the gates to Eretz Yisrael, and before that, even the Ottoman Empire, they had no problem with Jewish people buying land in the land of Israel. It was dirt, it was available. The landowners didn't even live in Eretz Yisrael, the Arab landowners. They were Syrian or somewhere else. And they had Jews were willing to buy it, they gave it. They gave it away. I mean, they sold it, but it wasn't like it wasn't an impossible thing. There was no resistance on behalf of the Arab world even for us to buy up the land at that time in the Ottoman Empire. And the resistance only happened, a little bit history I'm giving you here, with the Balfour Declaration, and then the San Remo Conference, and then the Jews came back and started really settling the land and building the infrastructures and agriculture. Then all of a sudden the Arab riots happened, very bloody riots, and then the white papers of the British Empire came about to limit and inhibit the quota of Jews entering the land of Israel. Before there was no quota, and to appease the Arabs so they won't riot and be such a pain in the neck to them because they're ruling the land and they couldn't take all of these riots, these crazy Arabs, these crazy Jews, like, okay, fine, we'll limit the amount of Jews. And there were like 3 white papers, and every time the Arabs rioted, they were rewarded by more concessions towards them, limiting the amount of Jews to come into the land. They're the ones who set up the whole system of conceding, appeasing the Arabs to bring about peace. It didn't work then, and it's not working now. This is the first riots was like 1929. 1921. No, after every major like conference that recognized the right of the Jews to come back to Israel, there was like a major riot. It could have been as early as 21. So where there was like no limit of Jews coming back to the land of Israel. And by the way, when we were given permission to come back in an uninhibited way, no quotas, just come back. It's okay. We're giving you permission. And most of the Jews chose not to come here. They chose America over Israel because they really needed to flee the Pale Settlement. Russia, Belarus, Poland, like all of the Pale Settlement over there. And the whole story of Fiddler on the Roof. When I taught this in high school in Montreal, I always ended up showing them Fiddler on the Roof also, because you had the different attitudes of Jews, where they're going to go, what's going to happen. They have to leave Anatevka and what's going to be. And very few chose the land of Israel. And following what Rav Techtel is saying, and he's not holding back from saying it really, is that we missed the call. The land of Israel was available to us. We chose America. So the Midah Keneged Midah, the doors are going to close, become tighter, and even if you want now, it's going to be very, very difficult until the Holocaust came and it was impossible. And then what did we see? Jewish people coming in boats from Europe being sent back. And to Rav Techtel, this is a clear sign that Hashem is really not happy with us, and that we need to do tshuva for it, because from the punishment we understand what the crime was on our part. If the punishment is we don't have easy access to Eretz Yisrael anymore, that means when we had access and we rejected it, that's exactly what we have to do tshuva for. And he's saying that in his time, this is Holocaust time, in the 30s and 40s, there was a certain amount of accessibility to despite the papers, the white papers of the British Empire. But the governments are still agreeing. There was the League of Nations before the United Nations. The League of Nations accepted the right of the Jews to come back, and here was a chance to be mataken what happened in Ezra's time. You Chachamim, you B'dei Israel, you rabbis, You rich people and wealthy people and resourceful people of the land of the Jewish people. Here's your chance to be the tikkun for that generation that prevented the Geula Shlema from happening. And what are you doing? You're doing the exact same thing that they did. You're rejecting the offer. If only everyone would have come back, then we would have seen the Geula. But really, it has to be biat kulam. It has to be all of the Jewish people. Now, all of the Jewish people means like most of the Jewish people. Okay, so there has to be a majority of the Jewish people like wanting, accepting the invitation. It seems like through the governments of the world, but really it's all Hashem's, they're just shlichim of Hashem. ואז נשיג חפץ נפשנו להיות גאולה שלמה בעזרת Hashem. And when all of the Jews, / most of the Jews, will choose to come back to Eretz Yisrael, then we will see בעזרת Hashem the גאולה שלמה.
The Rabbanu will tell you.
He's if we get to it,
Sorry.
yeah, no, it's not sorry. It's
It's a
real, it's real time history that we're living through.
Maybe. We'll have to ask again.
You know what? I got a WhatsApp today from a friend that also used to live in Montreal. I don't follow news from Montreal, but she does. And she sent me in front of the Jewish Federation building in Montreal that houses a lot of the Zionist organizations and the Jewish Public Library and the Jewish educational like what I forget what it's called. I forget what it's called. I've been there only like I haven't been involved there for 4 years and it's knocked out. It's good. Okay. Some people like rabbis fasted 40, I don't know what, to forget the Torah of Bavel to come to Eretz Yisrael. So like, thank God, Baruch Hashem. Okay. But she sent me clips of protests calling for intifada in front of like the hub of the Jewish Center. It's in front of the Jewish Center. It's like the Jewish General Hospital is like 2 blocks away. The high school where I taught at, Herzliya High School, there was like a lot of schools. There's a lot of yeshivas and a lot of Talmud Torahs and a lot of day schools in that area. It's like the hub of the Jewish community, and they're rioting. And they're not allowing people to enter the building, the Federation building. So I was thinking about this. Why it made me say this? Because you said what you said, that there's still a position now, and I'm thinking all of this. Can you send me updated? Okay, no, I can't. I wish. Sorry. Okay. Okay, and I'm thinking, what did he say? What did he say? The beginning of this book is called Dofek. The voice of my beloved is knocking. And how did he translate the knocking and the nature of the voice? That it comes through the gzeot, that comes through the bad decrees that Jews have to suffer in Galus. And this is supposed to be a kol dodi dofek, a wake-up call for the Jewish people to say, why is this happening to me? I got to go back home. Because why is my cushy life being upset here? I was prospering and I was educating my children nicely in Jewish institutions, and we're all living very fulfilling Jewish lives, and nothing seems to be missing. And if anyone has an esrog in Israel, it's because of Chutz La'aretz. And so we have it here. We don't have to worry about that. And I'm saying all of this anti-Semitism, we have to see it as a bracha. Because the Geula, this is me speaking, okay? But it's from everything that I've been getting from Rav Teichtel. So take it with a grain of salt. But it seems like he's saying it outright. So it's like that if the Geula is dependent on all or most of the Jewish people being in the land of Israel, what's going to get them to come to the land of Israel? What motivates change? Pain, right? if all the extra pounds from all the tubs of ice cream wouldn't bother us, we would continue eating those tubs of ice cream. But at certain points, it gets to our joints and it hurts us. And so we have to figure out like a different lifestyle. What do I have to change for this pain to stop? And we who are learning this, it's so obvious to us. Get out of there. Come back home. Okay. But they're not doing it. Now, about the rabbis, that this message is also coming from rabbis. He addresses this in his comments about the miraglim. You can be a tzaddik and you can be wrong. What's the proof? The miraglim, who were the biggest tzaddikim of their generation, that's who Moshe Rabbeinu chose.
Yeah.
Not stam people. People who you would have hoped that when they get to the land of Israel, they would be inspired to come back with good news and yalla.
They said they used to say the same thing before the Holocaust. When it's all started, they also asked for money. There are said, "Yeah, said we'll be fine."
So he actually said this. Those people are going to have to like account for that,
Right.
because they are in a position of influence, and they could have prevented a lot of unnecessary Jewish lives from being lost. It's okay. So then he goes on to talking about. He quotes from the Yerushalmi. There's a piyut that we sing in Pesach morning, and the piyut uses two words that were understood to be two versions, and it's not conclusive which word is the correct one, but the Paitan included both words in it, which means, like in his opinion, and became part of liturgy, which means there's Ruach HaKodesh there, that both are applicable. One is Shelo Yidchaku. Let me find it here. Hold on. Shelo Yidchak v'lo Yirachek. ואין כתובות, רק רגע, לא ירחקו את הקץ ולא ידחקו את הקץ. We're more familiar with לא לדחוק את הקץ, which means don't push it. Don't hasten the ketz before its time. He brings the example of Bnei Ephraim, Shevet Ephraim, who after the Meraglim, they understood, oh, we should have gone to land of Eretz Yisrael. So now we're going to go. But Moshe Rabbeinu said, but you missed that chance. Now you don't have permission. Hashem is not going to be with you. You don't have the protection of Hashem you don't have Ashgacha with you to go. And they were all decimated when they got to Eretz Yisrael by the enemies. Because it has to be Bereshut HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the Reshut of the Kadosh Baruch Hu with the Meraglim to go into the land of Israel, that's Bereshut HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But if there's no Reshut, you can't decide, oh, I made a mistake back then. If the Tzaddik Hador is telling you not to go, then that's now you have to stay in the land in the Midbar for 40 years before you get a chance to go again. So you can't be matchik at the ketz because Bnei Ephraim wanted to hasten it. No, we're gonna force it. We hear you, Moshe Rabbeinu, but we're gonna force it according to our. But that's not allowed. But we're not allowed also leharchik at the ketz. Leharchik at the ketz means to delay it. To delay it unnecessarily more than it has to be, more than it is already delayed. So we can't hasten it on the one hand, and we can't delay it on the other hand. What will delay it? Okay, let's see what he says here. So Peresh Rashi, the Rashi says on this, what does it mean not to delay it? Through sins. Don't delay the gula through sins. But then, why do you need a shavua? Why do you need to have a shavua promise? Make Am Yisrael promise not to delay the gula through sins. We already know that. We already have other things that tell us that. Why be specific on why hang on to that? What's the chiddush here that has to have its own category of shelo yichaku be'avonam? And the Yerushalmi explains and then he explains, okay, So to help it understand the Rashi, שלא ירחקו את הקץ, not to delay the geula. And Rashi says, how are they delayed? How are we going to delay through sins? And the Yerushalmi, he brings to understand Rashi, what's the chiddush here by adding the word b'avonam? Clearly it's through sins, but the Yerushalmi says, Kiyom shelo nivna ki'ilu nechra b'yamav. Every generation that doesn't have the Beis HaMikdash being built in its time is considered the generation that destroyed the Beis HaMikdash. So we know that every generation has a responsibility in doing what it needs to do to stay away from sin, to bring about the gula. We have to do what Hashem's will is. אם כן, כבר נשבענו על זה, שלא להרחיק, הראוי היה לעשות גם בימי... Okay, שלא תעשות. So what is Rashi, what's the chiddush that Rashi is adding here? צריכים ביאור, ונראה בכוונת רש"י, דלא על סתם עוון. When Rashi says, שלא יחלקו בעוונם, that they should not delay the geula through their sin, it's not any old sin that he's referring to. Rashi had in mind a specific sin that's different than other times when we're warned not to do sinful things. And what does he mean about it? אלא על עוון דנוגע בקץ עצמו. A sin that has to do specifically with the geula itself. A sin that its consequence has direct implications to matters of geula. Okay? וכמו שכתב המהרש"א, ראוי היה לעשות נס. Maharsha says it would have been we should have been worthy to have a miracle done for us in the time of Ezra, but the sin prevented it. Again, what sin prevented it? היינו ראוי היה להיות גאולה דעזרא גאולה נצחית. The geula in the time of Ezra should have been an eternal geula, אלא שגרם החטא. But the sin prevented it. Which sin? The Maharsha says, החטא שלא עלו כולם. The sin of not everybody coming back to Eretz Yisrael. And he's reminding us that he brought from the Kuzari, and that's really the reason why the Geula was delayed from us, was distant from us, pushed to a later time from us. And that's why we have another injunction in the Torah, a shvuah, a promise that we have to hold by, שלא ירחקו את הקץ בעוונם, not to delay the Geula through our sin. Which sin? Not making aliyah, not coming back to Eretz Yisrael. שאם ימצא להם שעת הכושר, that if they would find the correct time, an auspicious time, an appropriate time, a time that lends itself to making aliyah, על ידי רישיון המלכים, through the permission of the governments, יקבלו רישיון זה, that they should accept that permission is granted, that this is just shluchim from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, וזה רישיון זה, ויעלו כולם כדי שישתלשל מזה גאולה נצחית. And that everyone should make an aliyah, so that the geula should spin about, should come about, should evolve from this. ולא יעשו כמו שעשו בימי עזרא. And they shouldn't do what they did in the time of Ezra, שרחקו את הקץ, that delayed and made the geula in distant time, בעוונם שלא עלו כולם, with their sin that they didn't all make aliyah. ומכל שכן, אם לא ירצו כלל לקבל את הפקודה, חס ושלום, שיחקו בזה את הקץ. And if they don't accept this command, this enjoinment, this pkuda, חס ושלום, they should know they are delaying the geula from happening. It's very charif words. This is very strong accusations here. וזה אמת בביאור דברי רש"י. And this is how we're supposed to understand Rashi. V'dok, and check it out for yourself. Go to the sources as he brought so many of them, and do the research, and you'll see that there's only one way of understanding Rashi in this context, like this. So now we're in subsection 15. He brings about an example of David HaMelech. why it's so critical that everybody has to be involved. That in the and why and he's going to explain why the Beit Rishon didn't have an everlasting presence, why it was destined to be destroyed. And he brings here the David HaMelech in Divrei Hayamim says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the time that he collected donations, voluntary donations to build the Beis HaMikdash, because it's the property of all of Am Yisrael. All of Am Yisrael had to give it, just like the building of the Mishkan. Everybody had to give something. And he says there, Ve'ata amcha hanimtzeu po ra'iti besimcha litnadev la. And now your nation who are present here, I see in the simcha. Can you translate that? What do you have there in the English? The quote from Divrei Hayamim. It's close to the top of this of the paragraph. Yeah, 15.
It's and now I've seen your people who are present here offering donations to you with joy.
Okay, now I've seen. Okay, good. The Piresh Rashi, and Rashi says over there, Hanimtzeu po, on those words that are present here. He's being very specific about who's part of this joy of giving. Those who are nimtzeim po, those who are present here. V'zel shono in Rashi, hanimtzeim kan, haktuvim lemala, that are present here, that was mentioned in a previous pasuk. Vayakel David et kol Sarei Yisrael, and David HaMelech gathered all of the Sarei Yisrael, the leaders of. Is that how we translate it? Leaders of Israel. What?
Princes, it says.
Princes. Okay, good. אבל עשירי ישראל כולם אשר בכל עיר ועיר לא נמצאו פה. But the rich people were not present. The princes, the leaders of the tribes, they all showed up with what they gathered from their tribe to bring as an edava to the building of the Beit HaMikdash. Those were from the Nimtzeim Po, but there were people not Nimtzeim Po that were not present. Who were them? The rich people. אבל עשירי ישראל כולם אשר בכל עיר ועיר לא נמצאו פה. ועל כן ריבונו של עולם נטמעתה הנדבה. And that's why what could have been a great big donation, great big sums, great big gifts to the building of the Beit HaMikdash, it was diminished. It was in a diminished capacity. Why? שאילו היו שאר כל ישראל כאן, אז יתרבה הנדבה, because if all the rest of the Jewish people would have come at the same standing, then the nedava would have been greater. Ad kan leshono. V'zeh lignai ashirei amenu, and this is to the disgrace of the wealthy people of our nation, shetamid hema mamshichim yedehem elitnadev af ledavar hayoter gadol kebinyan Beit HaMikdash, that always draw their hands away from giving to great what does he have there? Great matters, such as the building of the Beit HaMikdash.
Today, they could be sending money from abroad.
Yeah.
Does that excuse?
So the question is, everyone is measured according to the capacity that they can give. Are they really giving everything that they can give? How much is their heart really is into Eretz Yisrael, Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, and how much is it still whatever's going on else in their life that they want, that they're using the money for? Beyond me to comment on any person who gives what and how much, but it's not like, oh, so-and-so gave $1 million, but if he has 3 million to give.
Yeah, but what if he gives $1 million to something in America or England or France or somewhere?
A Jewish concern.
A Jewish concern.
Yeah, you have to ask a rabbi this. I have no idea. But he seems to be, if he's saying this, it means in his personal experience, being a Mudkan Chassid in Hungary, living through the 30s and 40s and the Holocaust, and he saw what was going on, and he saw the attitudes of well-standing people and what they gave to and what they not give. This was his conclusion from his situation. V'chen he ad hayom hazeh, and he says, and I see that this is happening. What happened in David HaMelech's time, that David HaMelech was giving a dig to all of those people that could have been there, should have been there, but couldn't be bothered. And he's saying, and you look around, this is what's happening again today. This is exactly what David HaMelech was complaining about. That the rich people stayed in their homes and didn't come to volunteer. So we see that in the building of the Beis HaMikdash, not every Jew contributed, they didn't participate. And that's what denied the Bayis Rishon from having everlasting existence. And it wasn't like the silver that doesn't tarnish. Rot went into it because the foundation has to be from everybody. Okay. So now we're going to move over to Ted Zayin, to section 16. Now he's going to go back again to the whole discussion. So what do we do with the fact that it's really the non-Shomer Shabbos, non-religious, I forget what does he call them in English?
Founders of the movement.
No, what does he call them? There's an adjective. He describes them.
Comrades.
No, the common people, the simpletons, what does he call them? In section 16. It's close to the top. He calls them okay, whatever. It means like the non-shomer, the light, like not the heavy thinkers and not not shomer Shabbos. Okay, what is this that this whole movement to come back to the land of Israel's dafka through them? That it's dafka the sinners that are building the land, the holy land. And what is it to them that they have to be that they're willing to give up their life for the land of Israel? They, on the one hand, they're not machshiv Torah. They don't follow Torah. They're very far from it. Don't talk to them about Torah. It's not interesting for them. Talk to them about socialism, they'll get it. But talk to them Torah, it's like no shaykhs, no relevancy. But the whole point of Eretz Yisrael comes from Torah. So there's a contradiction there. On the one hand, they're willing to give up their life for the land of Israel. On the other hand, well, there's three hands here. The other, and they have no relationship to Torah, but it's only because of Torah that Israel is important. So why not buy up some plots of land anywhere else in the world for a safe haven for the Jews? Uganda was offered to us. Could be anywhere. You don't want to live amongst anti-Semite non-Jews. So create your own colony somewhere else. Like, why does it have to be Eretz Yisrael? And they were very stubborn. It has to be Eretz Yisrael.
Simpletons.
He calls them simpletons.
Yeah.
I mean, that's yeah. So in Hebrew, it's kalei dat. It's lightheaded because they don't have das Torah in them. They're going with the ideology of the time. The ideology will change. They'll change their ideology. It's like they're light. And so it's a pele. What is it that that they're only choosing Eretz Yisrael? They're willing to die for it, and yet they have nothing to do with Torah. Meanwhile, the Torah is the one who brought about all the importance of the land of Israel. And not only that, but from their success of building the land, we see that they have hashgacha, that Hashem is blessing their efforts. I had so many arguments with it's not nice to say, but I'm sure you have this experience too, maybe. But there's certain positions of people that are living in the land of Israel that are very Haredi, and they follow a very Haredi position, and they're so firm that they only want to give Hakar Satov to Kadosh Baruch Hu. But when it comes to giving Hakar Satov to the Shlichim of Kadosh Baruch Hu, I remember one time I went to Kever Rachel, and it was after a long time that I didn't visit, and it was the first time I was so shocked. It was the first time they could put up the walls, and you had to go through barriers, and there were soldiers all over the vest and everything. It was like, I don't remember when they put that up, but it was I remember when Kever Rachel looked like Kever Rachel, and then I came on a visit and was like, oh, what's going on? And the Chayalim are with their bulletproof vests because they were sending over stuff and it was dangerous for Jews to be like over the wall, and there were shootings and they were throwing rocks and stuff. And it was a packed bus. And I remember out loud, it came out, it wasn't just in my head, it left my lips. השם ישמור אתכם, החיילים שאתם מאפשרים לנו לבוא לפה. So there was this Haredi person, a man standing next to me, says, תודה לקדוש ברוך הוא. אתה לא רואה שהם השליחים שלו? Like, how do you not see that they are his shlichim? It's like that whole story of Hashem sending someone drowning the life, like a lifeboat, and saying, "It's okay, Hashem. No, it's okay, lifeboat.
I'll be saved.
I'll be saved." But to his credit, he heard me. He heard me. Yeah, it made him think. He didn't argue with me. So, what?
It's a problem today.
It's still a problem today.
Sure.
At a certain point in our history, it'll stop being a problem.
So,
But Bezat Hashem, and say amen to this also, that it's not going to be through patches. You're just going to wake up to it and not have to keep getting hurt, the pain that should motivate us. It should be hitbonenut. It should just be look around and just see that this is miraculous. And so Hashem remembers them letova for their mesiras nefesh, on behalf of Am Yisrael. But it's still like the question is, it's like a pella, because what shaykhs of Torah, and they're willing to die for the land of Israel, the only importance is because of Torah. And he quotes again the Ramak, the Moshe Cordovero, that Moshe Rabbeinu desired so much to come into the land of Israel. Why? Because of the kedusha of Torah. Because to do Torah in Eretz Yisrael is not like doing Torah in Chutz La'aretz. Like the land of Israel and Torah of Israel is intertwined. As we read as we learned in previous chapters, that according to the Rambam, Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, you can't do Torah without Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. You can't have Rosh Chodesh, you can't have the holidays without a presence of the Jewish people in the land of Israel. All of the mitzvahs, all of the Torah mitzvahs are dependent and connected to our connection to the land of Israel. And he brings Avram Avinu also, that he also desired, only to be, I don't know who he's quoting this, it was a new thing for me, Midrash Tanchuma, רק כדי להתחכם בחוכמת התורה. Avram Avinu, who found Hashem on his own through hitbonenut in where does he come from? Haran? No, where Aram Naraim? Where did that from come? Mesopotamia. Why does that stick in my head and not the Hebrew word? Aram Naraim. Anyway.
Ur Kasdim, no?
Ur Kasdim. Right, Dina. Yeah, but where's Ur Kasdim? Ur Kasdim, it means it means the furnace of fire because of him going through. It's not like the real name of the place. Okay. In any case, because Avram Avinu, who found Hashem on his own, got upgraded and rewarded by having Eretz Yisrael be revealed to him. But what that means is the Torah of Eretz Yisrael, the Chochmah of Eretz Yisrael being revealed to him. What you can't do in Chutz La'aretz. And because the people of this movement, the Zionist movement, they don't hold by Torah. It's a pele, okay? So now he's going to quote from Magid Meisharim, which is a parish on, which is okay, so he's a commentator, that he's bringing something that Yosef Karo, the base Yosef, learned from the Malach. Beit Yosef, Rav Yosef Karo, had revelations from higher realms had private teachers, private tutors that were like angels that taught him Torah. Okay, and these are recorded. So he quotes what Rav Yosef Karo got from this malach, and it concerns the Miraglim. Oh, okay. So he's saying, Hashem Amcha Gibor Chai. I'm going to try to shorten it because of the time, but Baruch Hashem Ha'ifta. Okay, hold on.
23rd of
23rd of.
Sivan.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I didn't know what he was going to say.
So there you go. So a malach appeared to Rav Yosef Karo on your birthday. You got a koach of Gilui, Elokut. That's beautiful. Okay. Okay, so it's very long, but I want to summarize it for you. You know what?
Not English.
Yeah, let me just read the English. I'll just read the English. Okay, good. So here. The Lord is with you, O mighty man of valor. Behold, we can ask several questions on this parsha Shlach. Why does it say, send forth men for yourself? This implies that it was a commandment from the Holy One, blessed be He, and not Israel's initiative to send out the spies. In Devarim, however, it says, all of you approached me. So was it initiated, the Meraglim, was it initiated by God, or was it initiated by the people? Furthermore, why was it necessary for Moshe Rabbeinu, alav shalom, to degrade the land and arrange for the spies to find out? Hashem is saying good. Believe Hashem. Why are you with your suspicions? Has Hashem not proven himself over and over again to you up until now? And so why set it up as a test? Go and find out for yourself, as if, don't take Hashem's word for it. You'll have to see it with your own eyes. So the question is, why is it necessary for Moshe Rabbeinu to degrade the land and arrange for the spies to find out? Is it fat or lean? This implies that if the land is not fat and good, they would not go, because he arranges for that possibility. Furthermore, it seems that Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom caused them to err and not believe the Holy One, blessed be He. God promised, I will bring you up from the affliction of Egypt to a good land. And Moshe said, is it fat or lean? Hashem already told us it's good, which means it's fat. So why are you calling it the question, Hashem's? Why are you bringing like doubt in Hashem's words? The explanation of this matter is as follows, and it will answer many of the commentators' questions. You must understand that the people of Israel did not deserve to enter the land because they tested the Holy One, blessed be He, many times. However, through His abundant mercy and kindness, God placed in their hearts the desire to send men to spy out the land. Had they performed this mission properly, Hashem would have brought them into the land because of this merit. And afterwards, slowly but surely, He would have taken retribution for their previous sins. The Torah does not mention here that they approached God, as it does in Devarim, to hint to the fact that the Holy One, blessed be He, placed this request in their heart. What he's saying here is that they really didn't deserve to come. They already missed their chance of going into the land of Israel. That generation, it's going to be their children, not them. But he wanted to give them one more chance, one more merit, to bechol merit the land of Israel. And this is the test of the spies. So he brought it in their heart to request the spies so that they shall go and make good on, like, wow, it's amazing, of course, Hashem, we're going to go, everybody, we're going, yalla. And that should be the merit to make out for the sins that made them unworthy of going into the land of Israel at that time. That's what he said. You follow what he's saying? Now, he's going to continue. Hashem commanded them to send their princes, meaning their greatest sages. The sending of Yehoshua proves this, for he was great in Torah, and all of them were like him. Moshe told them to see if it is fat, because it is well known that the land is certainly fat, good, and full of trees. Moshe was hinting that they should praise Eretz Yisrael. He was giving them words in their mouth. He's giving them it's like
Sentence stems.
what?
Heads up, a heads up.
A head start, but he's already implanting the thoughts he wants them to have when they view it. Like, is it for sure? And the land is fat and has a lot of trees. Is it fat? So then when they're going to go, they're going to say, "Oh wow, it's really a lot of trees and there's a lot of fat." And like he's implanting it in their head to go that way, because for sure they're going to see it. Moshe was hinting that they should praise Eretz Yisrael. He was saying, when you come back with praises, so that the Jews would yearn to enter the land. Then they would merit to enter therein. That the yearning for the land is a thing that makes us merit the land. Now, I don't know about you around the table here, but I certainly yearn to come back to the land of Israel. Did you have had that yearning in
my life. Sure.
and Ruthie too? Like, right?
Yeah, 1979 was coming up.
Yeah, it's you build the kli.
What?
You
got married?
which year?
79.
Nice. So you build the kli through yearning for something. You want something that you feel like you're missing. When you're missing something, it creates a desire for it. The lack and the desire creates the kli for then the shefa to come back in. And he's saying, so you, spy, you who are the greatest of our generation right now, all 12 of you, you're going to go to the land, you're going to see it's fat, you're going to come back and praising it, which means those of Am Yisrael that didn't get to see what you saw, you will be opening up their appetite and their yearning for that which you will be describing. You're going to make it attractive and enticing to them that there's no way to live except in that place. Every utterance of this holy angel is the word of the living God. This teaches that simply yearning for and desiring the land makes Israel worthy of inheriting it. It starts with the tshuka, it starts with the kisufin, with the yearning. Magid Meshulam continues to explain that Moshe specifically chose Gdolei Torah and not the princes from the inauguration of the altar because he was worried that they would deviate from their mission. Nonetheless, his efforts were to no avail. Even though they were the greatest Torah scholars, they deviated from their mission. Now the question is, why? Why did they fail? They were Gdolim. I'm just going to continue reading from the English here. The Holy Zohar and the Shla explain that selfish motive caused the spies to do this. They had a negia. They had a self-serving reason, a selfish, self-serving reason to stay in the midbar. They feared that they were fit to be princes only in the desert, but once they enter the land, new princes would be appointed. Let this be an instructive lesson. He's claiming now the same thing about the rabbis in Europe that prevented because they held courts. They had positions. They're going to come back to those who knows them. Here, everyone's giving them their tzedakah money, their gabbai tzedakah, they have positions. Chas v'shalom, we're not saying that they're greedy and they're corrupt and they're using the tzedakah money for their own benefit to line their pockets. Chas v'shalom. But they had a certain prestige. They had an identification with that position. And if they move to Eretz, well, there's nothing there. There goes their enterprise. Let this be an instructive lesson. Even the greatest gadol in Torah and righteousness should not trust himself when he opposes the movement to build the land. He should not think that his intentions are fully for the sake of heaven, for he is certainly no greater in Torah and righteousness than the princes whom Moshe sent. Consider and study this well, and you will see that it is the truth. Chazak. In any event, we see that Hashem motivated the Jews to send men to Eretz Yisrael for Israel's benefit. If they had a desire to send, if it was something their hearts asked them to do, then that was planted there from Hashem. Now, what they can do with it, they have a free choice. Are they going to, there's, if they're going to use it l'shem shamayim or not. He wanted to awaken within them a yearning and desire for the good land so that they would be worthy to enter the inheritance land because they were lacking merit. What's going to bring them to merit the land? The yearning for the land. The yearning for the land is going to come about if they see the land and they come back with good reports, and they're going to awaken the goodness of the land and the yearning for it in the hearts of all the other people. And that's going to be the merit that they were lacking to get the land, to make up for the sins of before. This also explains our issue. There is no doubt that the Holy One, blessed be He, who always has our best interest in mind, placed this desire for the land of our forefathers into the hearts of our Jewish brethren who have learned the ways of the nations during this long bitter exile. Saying, the Chilonim, what shaykhs do they have to give up their life for the land of Israel that's only important because of Torah, but they have nothing to do with Torah? Clearly, it's coming from Hashem. That Hashem implied they're far from Torah, and this is the merit that Hashem is giving them. Of the mitzvah that is kolel, that is all-inclusive of all of Torah Kula. So that none of us will be banished. Lo yidach mimeno nidach. There's a promise that no Jew will be left behind. So there has to be some sort of divine plan to bring them into merit. He inspired them to yearn and sacrifice themselves for the land, and this makes them worthy to inherit and dwell in it. Exactly like the people in time of Ezra, who were they? Not the rich and not the learned. Undoubtedly, one mitzvah leads to another. And we see that the assimilated Jews that Ezra came to the land of Israel with, they built the land of Israel, their children became Balei Tshuva and became the Chachmei Eretz Yisrael, and we have the Yerushalmi from them. They're the ones who built the Yishuv in Eretz Yisrael and populated it. So it's those people. So you're going to dismiss now Chilonim for being Moser Nefesh for Eretz Yisrael and saying we want nothing to do with them and they have no place in the Torah of Hashem? Has v'shalom. Don't you see that history is repeating itself? And this is a chance. And eventually, after many Jews dwell there, the Holy One, blessed be He, will purify their hearts and they will return to His service. Whether they do tshuva or not, that's Hashem's business. And anyway, you're religious, you believe in mitzvah goreret mitzvah. So this is a mitzvah that they're going, and eventually their hearts will gravitate naturally towards Torah, because mitzvah goreret mitzvah. And that's the end of this section. Okay. So next week we'll do 17. Anyone want to unmute from home and comment?
I just want to make something clear. Maybe I didn't hear it. When you were talking about the rioting in Montreal, who was rioting? What?
People with Palestinian flags.
Okay.
And tafiyas.
Yeah.
Preventing people from entering into. I'll send you the clips that she sent.
It's okay. It's okay. Actually, my brother-in-law called at the same time. I said, Yael Dworkin just said that they were rioting in Montreal. He says, yeah, the Arabs are rioting everywhere. In Toronto, they didn't want to let the Italian minister, prime minister, or president enter the building. Et cetera, et cetera. So
because Italian,
some Italian, I don't know, president or Rosh HaMemshala, I don't know what. He was in Toronto wanting to meet with the
Federation people, with Jews.
Yeah, and they wouldn't let them into the building.
Yeah, okay. And people are seeing this. Good people of the world are seeing this, and for them, this is okay and normal. And the thing, the news from Montreal is that the police isn't doing enough, and you can see them. They're like they're just hanging around. But we have to say, Met Hashem Eitazot. This is what Hashem doesn't know about this. I have brothers in Montreal, so this friend who's sending me says, time for your brothers to pick up and come back also. So I don't know, it's.
You don't know what to do.
You come back to Israel. For me, it was easy because I'm a teacher and I can go anywhere. But they're more stuck in their achrayut, they're whatever. It's complicated. And they have younger kids. Mila, Hashem should open up the hearts of everybody to do what they need to do in the timing that they need to do without getting hurt.
Amen.
And all in good time. B'ezrat Hashem. And you and Chutz La'aretz who are watching the Zoom, learning it and yearning to fulfill the words that we're learning for is building the kli, and you'll also be here with us, and it's okay in all good time. B'ezrat Hashem. This
Thank you so
this is
much.
you're connecting to the land of Israel by learning about it and by contributing in your own way. Yeah,
I
Judy.
hope everybody is going to come for the Malava Malka.
Oh, this Motzei Shabbos.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell them.
Here in Israel.
Here in Israel, yeah.
Okay.